You pour it without thinking. Maybe it's part of your breakfast. Maybe it's something you sip while watching the news or chatting with your family. It's cold, smooth, sweet, and it feels healthy. The label says natural, fortified, with vitamins, maybe even 100% juice. But what if that innocent morning habit is actually accelerating the wear and tear in your joints? What if the pain in your knees, the stiffness in your fingers, the slow creeping discomfort every time you get up from a chair wasn't just aging, but a direct result of something you're drinking every day? The truth is unsettling. Most seniors blame their bodies for getting old, when in fact their lifestyle is silently inflaming them. And one of the biggest culprits? Fruit juice. Even the ones labeled no added sugar. Even the ones sold in health food stores. You've been told your whole life that juice is good for you. A natural source of vitamins, a part of a balanced breakfast. But here's what they never mentioned. Juice, without the fiber of whole fruit, is a sugar bomb. Your blood sugar spikes. Insulin floods your system. Inflammatory responses are triggered. And in that chaos, your joints begin to swell from the inside out. Scientific studies, including one published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, reveal that sugary drinks, even the natural ones, increase CRP levels in the blood, a key marker of inflammation linked directly to joint pain and cartilage breakdown. Over time, this means more stiffness, more grinding, more aching, especially in the morning. Now pause and imagine your joints. Soft cushions of cartilage meant to absorb impact. When inflammation eats away at them, those cushions thin. Bones start to press and grind. The fluid that lubricates your movements thickens and becomes less effective. Every step becomes heavier. Every motion feels older than it should. And yet, the cause might still be sitting in your refrigerator, disguised as health. Here's what most people over 60 get wrong. They think quitting soda is enough. They assume natural juice is safe. They believe that pain is inevitable. But nature never intended for us to drink fruit without the balancing fiber. When you bypass that system, the sugar acts fast, and the consequences build slowly. Even so-called immune-boosting drinks can be just as bad. Flavored teas, fruity waters, even sports drinks targeted at seniors. Many are packed with hidden sugars or acids that erode cartilage and inflame the joints. And worst of all, you don't feel it right away. The damage is slow. It becomes part of your routine, until one day you simply accept that bending your knees hurts and getting out of bed is a struggle. But that doesn't have to be your story. Imagine waking up with less pain. Picture walking to the kitchen without hesitation, without that deep crackling sensation in your knees or the stiffness in your hands. That kind of freedom doesn't come from medication. It starts by cutting out what's silently harming you. And you're not alone. One of the world's most recognized figures faced the exact same realization, and it changed everything. Oprah Winfrey, a woman known for her energy, drive, and influence, suddenly faced a crisis she didn't see coming. Her joints ached, her body felt heavier, and despite doing everything right, something was wrong. What happened next? What did she remove from her diet? And why did it work so fast? That's coming up in the next section. Don't miss it, because the drink she cut out is likely sitting in your fridge right now. It started with a sharp stabbing pain in her left knee. Oprah, always energetic and committed to wellness, brushed it off at first. Maybe it was a bad night's sleep, maybe just stress. But then it came back, stronger, more frequent. Soon, walking down the stairs became a ritual of discomfort. Her joints cracked, her fingers stiffened in the morning, and workouts left her feeling more inflamed than energized. It didn't make sense. She had access to the best trainers, chefs, supplements, yet her body was giving up on her, one joint at a time. She did what most people over 60 never do. She got curious. She sat down with a nutritional therapist, not just any, but one who specialized in joint degeneration in aging women. After a detailed evaluation, the expert asked her a simple but piercing question: what do you drink every morning? Oprah listed her usuals: green juice, a fruit-based detox smoothie, almond milk with berries, and a hydration blend that promised anti-aging support. The expert's response was immediate: cut them all, every single one. At first, she was shocked. But these are my healthy habits, she insisted. But then the therapist explained what science has been confirming in recent years. It's not about calories, it's about inflammation. And the sweet drinks Oprah trusted, even the organic ones, even the cold-pressed ones, were full of natural sugars and hidden acids that spiked her insulin and flooded her joints with inflammatory responses. For Oprah, this was more than an annoyance. It was a wake-up call. "You're drinking your own pain," the expert told her. That phrase hit hard, because it wasn't just about discomfort anymore. It was about losing freedom, about not being able to move how she wanted when she wanted. And it was all being caused by the very drinks she believed were fueling her success. She quit cold turkey. No fruit smoothies, no juices, no wellness waters. Instead, she shifted to anti-inflammatory hydration, plain filtered water with a pinch of sea salt, unsweetened herbal teas, and warm ginger infusions. Within days, the swelling in her fingers subsided. Within a week, her knees felt more fluid. And within 3 weeks, she said something she hadn't felt in months. "I feel light again." This wasn't magic. It was biology. You see, the sugar and acid load from these drinks had been silently triggering her immune system every morning, especially after sleep, when the body is most vulnerable. These microinflammations add up. They don't show up on a blood test, but they steal your freedom day by day. And this is where most people make the same mistake Oprah once did. They assume that if something says organic or detox, it must be good. But inflammation doesn't care about marketing. It reacts to what's inside. And what's inside many of these healthy drinks is enough to inflame your joints for hours. Now imagine this happening in your body. Every sip adding pressure. Every healthy smoothie becoming another silent hammer on your knees, your hips, your hands. And you wonder why climbing stairs is harder, why your grip is weaker, why you wake up stiff and tired. But here's the good news. Just like Oprah, you can reverse this. You don't need exotic treatments or expensive supplements. Sometimes the path to strength starts by removing what's quietly harming you. In the next section, we'll talk about what's even more dangerous than sugar, the ingredient that hides inside sugar-free drinks and may be doing more damage than you ever imagined. You already know sugar is bad? Everyone does. But what if the drinks you switch to, the ones labeled sugar-free, 0 calories, or diabetic-friendly, were even worse for your joints, because hiding inside many of these beverages is a compound that doesn't just trigger inflammation. It confuses your body, disrupts your immune system, and can make your cartilage disintegrate faster than aging ever could. It's not sugar, it's artificial sweeteners, and they've quietly taken over the drinks in your fridge. Aspartame, sucralose, acetylsulfame potassium. You've seen the names, even if you've never paid attention. These substances are engineered to mimic sweetness without calories. They were originally introduced as solutions for weight loss, blood sugar control, even diabetes management. But recent research shows a terrifying truth. Your body doesn't just taste them, it reacts to them. And the reaction isn't neutral. Studies, published in journals like Nature and Frontiers in Immunology, reveal that certain artificial sweeteners disrupt your gut microbiome, which is where more than 70% of your immune system resides. When those bacteria are thrown off balance, your body's inflammation levels rise, not just in your stomach, but in your joints. What happens next? Cartilage starts to break down faster, joint fluid thickens, and the immune system begins attacking the joints as if they're foreign invaders. This isn't speculation. Rheumatologists have seen a rise in autoimmune joint conditions among older adults who consume high levels of diet drinks and sugar-free beverages. Many patients don't realize the cause. They think they're making healthier choices. But inflammation doesn't care about calories. It reacts to chemistry. And here's the paradox. You cut out the orange juice to reduce sugar, and you replaced it with a sugar-free citrus water, only to find yourself waking up even stiffer, your knuckles more swollen, your knees aching longer into the day. Why? Because your body isn't confused by the word zero. It responds to what's inside the drink, and artificial sweeteners, though technically non-caloric, still cause biological chaos. Imagine drinking something that tells your taste buds sweet, but your brain can't find the expected glucose. Your insulin surges anyway, your metabolism scrambles, your gut flora goes haywire, and your joints, they suffer the inflammatory fallout. This is one of the most common mistakes among seniors trying to live healthier. They trust the label more than their body, and the damage builds slowly, not overnight, not in one glass, but day after day, sip after sip, until you lose the ability to kneel, to climb, to grip, to move the way you once did. But here's the shift. Once you remove these ingredients, once you go truly clean, your body responds quickly. The immune system calms, joint fluid becomes thinner and more effective, cartilage stops degrading, and in many cases, mobility begins to return. That's what happened to thousands of seniors who made the switch. So here's your next step. go. Into your fridge and read the back of every bottle. If it says sugar-free, check for aspartame, sucralose, or acesulfame K. If you find them, toss it. You're not throwing away a drink. You're throwing away pain. And don't worry, in the next section you'll discover exactly what happens when you stop. The changes aren't just chemical, they're physical, because within 72 hours of removing these toxins, many seniors feel something they haven't felt in years: relief. It starts quietly. The first morning after you cut the drink, maybe you still feel the same. Your knees crack, your fingers resist, you chalk it up to another day of aging. But then something subtle shifts. You get out of bed a little easier. That burning tension behind your knees? It's not there. You walk to the kitchen and realize your gait feels smoother. By day 3, you notice your rings slide on more easily. The puffiness around your knuckles, the kind you never even questioned, is fading. You grip a coffee mug without thinking. You twist a doorknob without. That deep ache pulsing through your wrist. This isn't a miracle. This is what happens when you stop flooding your body with inflammation triggers. Your immune system, once on high alert from artificial sweeteners and liquid sugars, begins to settle. The synovial fluid in your joints, the lubricant that lets your bones glide instead of grind, starts to thin out and return to its natural consistency. Without the constant attack from inflammatory compounds, your cartilage finally gets a break, and your body does what it was designed to do: repair. Within 1 week, many seniors report waking up with more mobility, more clarity, more energy, not because they added anything magical, but because they removed what was silently attacking them. The swelling goes down, the stiffness softens. That clicking noise in your shoulder, it becomes less aggressive, then disappears altogether. For some, stairs stop feeling like punishment. For others, simple tasks, tying shoes, bending to pick something up, reaching behind the back, become doable again. Here's what's really happening inside. The blood vessels around your joints begin to expand again. No longer constricted by chemical irritation. Oxygen reaches deeper tissues. Micronutrients start feeding the cartilage. Your joints don't just move better, they breathe better. One woman, 68 years old, had been drinking 2 diet sodas a day for 20 years. Her fingers had become so inflamed that she had trouble holding a pen. After eliminating all artificially sweetened beverages, she reported this: "On day 5, I held my grandson's hand without pain. I cried." Another man, 72, thought his knee pain was permanent. He gave up sugary juices and so-called immune drinks and replaced them with warm turmeric water and unsweetened rooibos tea. After just 10 days, he said, "I walked from the garden to the garage and didn't realize until later I never limped." These aren't isolated cases. This is the pattern, and it all begins with one decision: removing the daily trigger. But don't stop there, because while removing the bad is powerful, adding the right hydration can accelerate the healing. There's one ancient liquid, almost forgotten by modern nutrition, that has helped thousands restore joint comfort and resilience. It's simple, it's natural, and it's coming up in the next section. Imagine this: waking up without wincing, standing without bracing yourself, moving through your day with quiet, effortless strength. It's possible, and it starts when you stop drinking what's hurting you and start hydrating with what heals. You've removed what was harming your joints. The inflammation has started to fade, but now your body is thirsty, not for more water, but for restoration. The truth is, most seniors are chronically dehydrated, not in the sense of being thirsty, but in a deeper, cellular way. Your joints aren't just dry, they're starved of the nutrients and compounds that keep them supple, elastic, and pain-free. And the strange part? The most powerful healing liquid isn't new. It's ancient, forgotten by most. And it's probably not in your home. It's called bone broth. Not the processed kind in a box. Not instant powder, but real, slow-simmered. Broth made from animal bones, chicken, beef, lamb, boiled for hours with herbs, vegetables, and a splash of vinegar. Why does this matter? Because the process draws out one of the most joint-healing substances on Earth, collagen. Collagen is what your cartilage is made of. It's the soft cushion that lets your bones glide without friction. As you age, your body produces less of it. Your joints creak. You feel stiff in the morning. Recovery takes longer. But when you consume collagen in its natural form, the gelatin-rich elixir found in bone broth, something incredible happens. Your body begins to rebuild. This isn't theory. Clinical studies show that regular intake of hydrolyzed collagen or gelatin improves joint flexibility, reduces joint pain, and increases mobility in older adults. It's not just the collagen either. Bone broth is packed with glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid. These aren't trendy supplements. They're the raw materials your body needs to repair joint tissue, lubricate movement, and reduce pain. And unlike sugary drinks or artificial sweeteners, bone broth doesn't spike your insulin. It doesn't inflame your gut. It doesn't trigger immune confusion. It's pure nourishment, warm, soothing, and deeply restorative. Imagine replacing your morning juice or afternoon soda with a cup of hot, mineral-rich broth, each sip sending collagen to your knees, each swallow hydrating the tissue between your vertebrae. After a few days, your joints feel more fluid. After a few weeks, you move with quiet strength, and your mornings, once filled with stiffness and dread, become calm again. Most seniors skip this step. They drink more water, maybe add lemon, sometimes tea, but they miss the real medicine. Water hydrates. Bone broth restores. The amino acids found in it, glycine and proline, also help regulate your sleep, reduce anxiety, and support the repair of connective tissue all over your body. One man in his 60s, after struggling with chronic hip pain, replaced his morning beverage with bone broth for 3 weeks. His words, "I got my mornings back. I can garden again. I can walk my dog without stopping. I thought that part of my life was over. The key isn't just removing inflammation, it's rebuilding structure. Hydration isn't only about fluid, it's about function, and this ancient remedy offers both. But even now, there's still one more threat. One drink more dangerous than sugar, more common than artificial sweeteners, and it's still hiding in millions of homes. It's not in Oprah's kitchen anymore, but it may still be in yours. In the final section, we reveal the drink that does silent damage with every sip, and why removing it might be the most important health decision you make this year. You've cut the juice. You've ditched the diet drinks. Maybe you've even embraced healing hydration like bone broth, but there's still one drink left. One so deeply embedded in daily habits that most people never question it. It's marketed as refreshing. It's sold in vending machines, restaurants, hospitals. You see athletes drinking it, you see children sipping it, and yet for seniors over 60, it might be the most silently destructive liquid of all. What is it? Flavored sports drinks. You've seen the labels. Electrolyte boost, hydration formula, replenishes energy. But here's what the label doesn't say. These drinks often contain a toxic cocktail of citric acid, preservatives, artificial coloring, and hidden sugars. Even the zero-sugar versions, loaded with sweeteners and acidity regulators, that when consumed daily, erode cartilage, dehydrate joint tissue, and weaken the immune response. It's not just about sugar. The acidity of these drinks, even more than soda, can leach calcium from your bones and reduce the pH balance of your joint fluid. Over time, the fluid that once cushioned your knees and elbows thickens and becomes sticky. Motion gets harder. Swelling becomes constant. And you think it's just aging, but it's a chemical assault happening every single day. The colors, artificial dyes like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, are banned in several countries due to their inflammatory effects, and yet they remain in most flavored drinks, especially the ones marketed to seniors as fitness water or electrolyte drinks. These chemicals don't hydrate you. They irritate your gut lining, disrupt your hormones, and trigger low-grade inflammation that settles in the joints and makes healing nearly impossible. Even worse, many seniors turn to these drinks thinking they're helping their hydration. After a walk, after gardening, after a long day in the sun, but your body doesn't need neon-colored liquid. It needs clean minerals, gentle electrolytes, and fluids that support tissue repair, not fluids that destroy. One study from the Journal of Inflammation Research found that adults who consumed acidic sports drinks regularly had significantly higher levels of inflammatory cytokines, molecules that directly attack connective tissue in the knees, hips, and lower back. These individuals also showed accelerated signs of cartilage thinning, often mistaking it for normal wear and tear. But it's not normal, and it's not irreversible. The moment you stop feeding your body these silent toxins, it begins to recover. Slowly, yes, but steadily. Imagine walking through your day without that hidden weight dragging at your joints. Imagine fingers that bend without swelling, knees that bend without grinding, mornings without dread, evenings without stiffness. That kind of life is possible possible, not through pills or expensive treatments, but by removing what's quietly poisoning your movement. And it's not too late. Every sip you skip matters. Every harmful drink you replace with something restorative gives your joints room to breathe again. This is how real change happens, not in a single moment, but in small decisions repeated daily, like choosing bone broth instead of sports drinks, like skipping the sweetened tea, like listening to the quiet pain your body whispers before it screams, because now, you know what Oprah discovered. You know what thousands of others have learned too late, and you have the power to make the shift before the damage becomes permanent. So pause, go to your fridge, open your pantry, look closely at what you've allowed in, and ask yourself, is this hydrating me or harming me? In the final words that follow, we'll bring all of this together and guide you through a calm, clear vision of what life could look like when your body is free from the inflammation that's held you back for too long. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no tension in your knees, no stiffness in your hands, no hesitation when you roll out of bed and place your feet on the ground. You rise not slowly, not cautiously, but with quiet confidence. You walk to the kitchen, not with a limp, not with a shuffle, but with the natural rhythm your body was always meant to have. This isn't a dream. It's not a fantasy sold in a bottle or promised by a pill. This is what your life can look like when inflammation stops dictating your every move. For too long you've been told that pain is a normal part of aging, that slowing down is expected, that cracking joints and swollen fingers are just part of the process. But it's not the years, it's the triggers, and the most powerful ones don't come from what you can't do anymore. They come from what you keep putting in your body every day without questioning it. That juice you thought was healthy, that diet soda you thought was safe, that hydrating sports drink that promised to replenish you, they were quietly draining you of energy, of flexibility, of the ease that once defined your every step. But now you know. You've seen behind the curtain. You've traced the pain not to your age, but to your habits, and that means something sacred. You have power. You have the power to protect your joints, to restore your balance, to regain the calm, grounded strength that age was never meant to steal. Replace the poison with nourishment. Let every sip you take speak healing into your bones. Let your meals support movement, not fight it. Hydrate with wisdom, rest with intention, move with courage, because your body remembers. Even after years of inflammation, even after a decade of silent pain, your body remembers how to move with ease. It just needs space, it needs clarity, and it needs you to choose it again. Now picture one more moment. You're standing in your garden. The sun is warm. You bend down to pick a tomato. No wince, no crack, no resistance. Just presence, just freedom. Just you, strong, firm, and full of life. And it started with a choice, a simple one, to remove the drink that was stealing that life and reclaim the one waiting beneath the surface. If this message touched something in you, if you felt a memory, a wish, or a sense of hope rise while listening, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this video. Sometimes the one thing that saves a life is a quiet warning shared at the right time.